Hello, everyone out there. I'm Susan Gerbeck from Psychics Explained. And I told you I had a bunch of these videos of Mark Edward doing psychic things. And I think they're a fun way of explaining what is going on in the psychic world and how mentalism, which is a branch of magic, like a escapologist would be a branch of magic, people who escape from things. But a bizarrist in the magic world is a mentalist who does things that make it look like they're psychic. They do seance, they do other kinds of effects in the magic world that are not like pulling a rabbit out of the hat or making somebody disappear or cutting somebody in half. No, a mentalist is a type of person who does things that are psychic look appearing. So if you had taken somebody like Mark Edward and he had become a psychic, which he did for a long time, and he was able to write this book, which is kind of hard to get. I think you can probably get it off of eBay or some places like that, used bookstores because it's out of print. But oh my gosh. But you can get it on Audible. It's an extended version on Audible. But anyway, the reason why I want to talk about this today is because one of the chapters in this book, let me see if it's called what I think it's called. Let's look real quick. There's a chapter in here where he talks about how doing cold reading is, I don't know, remember which chapter it is. Yep. Anyway, he says that when you're doing cold reading, it's a system. So if you're using tarot cards, or if you're reading a palm, or if you're reading the stars, or if you're reading a human being's, like a cup of tea where it has the tea clinging to the sides, tea reading, or if whatever you're reading, if you're reading animal tracks or whatever, it's all a system. And so if you're good at what you're doing, you just take the system that you're using and you apply it to other parts of that you want to use for reading. And Mark was always famous for saying he could read a cat turd, and he could do the same thing that he would be doing off of tarot cards or off of a hand. It's just a matter of practice and confidence and storytelling. So in his book, he tells a story about one day before he was going to be working at I think it was a spiritualist church in Los Angeles. And, you have all these little tables and he puts these little crystals and this is before I knew him. And he put the tablecloth down and, you would have your rhymes and all this stuff. And then tarot cards usually is what most people do, or palm reading. And he was working there. I mean, he did this for a very long time. All the time he was working as a psychic, he was also working as a mentalist, and he was on the board of Skeptic Magazine. So Skeptic Society. And he was able to take all that information and put it into this tell-all book. So Mark, he tells a story about how he had, I guess he'd stopped by the farmer's market that day, and they had a whole bunch of bananas, just bunches of bananas. So he bought just bunches of bananas. He said, I'm going to try this. And the reason why he tried it is because he tells the story, and I think he'll tell it in this video, so I better not tell it right now. But I'm going to show you this banana reading. And what's going on is this is filmed in 2009. Mark and I were not a couple yet. We were on this cruise together. It's a James Randi Educational Foundation, JREF, and we were on a cruise to Mexico. And this is where I met Mark Edward and fell for him. He was so cute and charming. He was older than I was, but I never thought anything would happen because we were long distance. It's a long distance thing, and we were both single. But there was no way we could ever be a couple, because I was not going to ever have a long distance relationship with somebody in Los Angeles of all places. That's like I'd been there like 2 times in my life or something. It's just like, no, okay, well, there was other plans. But anyway, the point is, I'm on this cruise. My son's with me, and James Randi's obviously there. And Mark Edward was the talent, kind of like they had hired to be on the cruise to do mentalism and to, lend his voice of what he was doing. Now, I'd heard of Mark Edward before. I'd seen him and I knew he was cute, but I didn't really know. But I was very interested in psychics, as you guys have seen in some of my other interviews I've done about talking about the psychic world. Anyway, so I guess I'll have another story about what happens between Mark and I, and we become a couple. But the thing is, I am my friend Kitty, and Kitty's the person who's going to be getting a reading in this video. Her and I had these rinky-dink video cameras, and every time James Randi opened his mouth, pretty much one of us was filming, because everything James Randi said was interesting and fascinating and just on and on. So anyway, I'm filming Mark. I thought it was really cute, like I said. And I think you'll see a cage in the corner here on the left of Mark on the floor. Maybe you'll see it. It was chasing the Chupacabra cruise. And so and they had this cage, and I think they put something in it. Anyway, the point is, Mark's was challenged to do a banana reading. So some of the women who had read the book about and it had the banana reading episode in there, went to the buffet that morning, and they got for breakfast, and they brought a banana, and they gave it to Mark because they wanted him to read the banana because they had read his book. Anyway, so I'm going to show you that right now. I've stabilized this video because we were on a cruise ship. So hopefully it's okay. And hopefully you can hear it pretty good. I can try to raise the volume on the video if possible. But these are some good friends of mine that are on this cruise. And I didn't really know anybody in 2009 when I went on this cruise. I was just nobody, and had a blast. Long time friendships. You couldn't really use the internet back in the on a cruise ship very easily. I think you still have trouble doing that, but it allowed you to really have downtime and have quality time with people without any electronic devices. I'd highly recommend it to people if you get a chance to do anything like that as a group. It's a lot of fun. So you see Naomi, you see Gail, you see Kitty, and you see James Randi there in the front. And Kitty's the one who's going to get the reading. We'll talk about this on the other side.
All right, so this is a banana. This is an unprepared banana. We never met this banana before. Okay, so this is how it works. Oh, I'm not supposed to do this. How you peel a banana.
Should I get a different banana?
Hey, here's what it is. No, I shouldn't tell you first. Just go ahead and peel the banana and then eat the banana.
Oh, too late. You're in big trouble already. Oh, I don't want to sit near you.
Take a bite. Yeah, go ahead. Okay.
Oh.
All right, that's good enough. I got it. That's what I need to know. All right, so how she peeled the banana tells me about her past. Okay, her past is she did it very carefully. So it tells me that she has a side to her nature that is very analytical. She didn't just tear it off. She very carefully, like taking the petals from the flowers, very carefully peel it away, saving it. She didn't like rip it away and throw it away. She did it very carefully. A lot of people will peel a banana straight down to the bottom right away, take the fruit part away. She just took just enough for, to take that first bite. So you're cautious and you're contained. You're honest and you don't like playing mind games. And you also sometimes you in your past, since we're talking about the past, the peel, since you are analytical and you tend to look at things and you to make a decision, you have to have all the different outcomes before you decide on what you're going to do. So sometimes people even refer to you as being a little stubborn.
Oh, yes.
Am I accurate so Okay, so in other words, the way she was very careful about it. So the idea is that when she makes a decision, she stands by it, and you will not change your mind once you've made a decision.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So once all the evidence is in, the analytical side, the only hang-up in your past is you might have lost opportunities for things because you overanalyzed it. Very deep. Okay, so that's the past, all right? Now, how did she eat the banana? She took, well, we won't say what she did first. She licked the end of the banana. Okay, so this tells me that you have a strong sensual nature. A very strong sensual nature. She has a very romantic side. She's somebody who, if given the chance, she will go for a candlelight instead of a halogen lamp. And you might even have a more sensuous side that prefers a lava lamp or something. You have a lava lamp?
Yes.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You see, there's a sensuality. You love beautiful music. You're not into too loud, raucous music, although you do like to cut loose from time to time. But for the most part, while you're working, you'll have maybe some ambient music or some classical music. Is that true?
Yes.
She's like a tramp.
So that is the past. And the present is that she has a very strong sensual nature. So, gentlemen, I mean, she's married, but you can certainly have a good time with Kitty, okay? Now I see the peel away. I didn't mean to do that.
Oh, you wanted the peel. Okay.
Well, no, it's how you peel the banana is the past. Do you want to finish this?
Thank you.
So the future are the lines on the inside of the peel. Tell me about her future, okay?
Oh, my goodness.
So, let's have a look here.
She's got a long lifeline.
No. What it is that for the most part, things are looking really good. But again, there are going to be, see this break right here? This is kind of like a fate line. It tells me that you're going to have, in the future, you're going to have some opportunities to change the course of your future. In other words, it could be travel. It could be a change to a more motivational environment. Are you thinking of moving or anything like that?
Just got a fantasy.
No, actually, my husband and I are thinking of taking a job opportunity in Amsterdam, and we're debating whether to do it or not.
It's right
for a
here.
couple of years. That's Amsterdam.
Have you ever been there before?
I have been there before, but never lived there.
Okay, so this is an opportunity. Now, I tell people I don't act as a counselor that way, but let's just say I'm trying to think of how to put this. It would be better that you to take the risk than to take no risk at all.
Okay.
So I mean, if things look good and you don't, I'm not asking you to do anything that would be out of your nature because you're very analytical. But the problem is, the worst thing to me is when people say, I had a chance to go to Amsterdam 5 years ago and I didn't go, what would have happened? So I'm always forced to say to that person, you'd be happier today. So it's that whole thing, better to have loved and lost than never loved at all. So my feeling is about your future is, if you have an opportunity, I'm not saying you just carelessly jump into it and get on the boat and go, but give it a little more consideration than you would have if I hadn't have read your banana.
Yes.
So that's the future. See how easy it is?
Very actually bang on.
Okay,
Bang on.
so now I just have to take a few minutes to tell you the story about the banana reading, which is hysterical. It's in the book. But what I had heard, let me get over here now. Oh, I can do it here. What I had heard, this I heard from somebody, I don't know whether it was, there's somebody in the California Skeptics, Shermer's group, was that there was a British scientist who was very skeptical, and he was in the UK. I don't know his name, so I can't be absolutely clear about the anecdotal story. He went to a psychic fair, and his wife was getting a reading from one of the psychics, and he got into a little confrontation with the psychic. He said, well, you just told her total generalities. You didn't say anything specific. Anybody could do that. And the psychic said, how dare you? I'm gifted. I have been trained. I am in the temple of Isis, and went into this whole thing. And the guy said, no. He said, you can do that with anything. You don't need tarot cards, you don't need crystals, you don't need rune stones, anything. As a matter of fact, and he had his brown bag lunch, and he said, I'll give you a reading with this banana. And the psychic said, well, you know, how dare you? You're not trained like I am. I've had years of self-denial to gain my skills. And he said, well, are you? And then the other guy said, so you're calling my psychic abilities into question. You know, so now let me do it. So he did basically what I did, but he just made it up, totally on the fly, totally accurate. The psychic was just like, wow. You know?
Isn't it adorable? He is so cute. My heart still beats for him. So, okay. So Kitty, now he knew Kitty. This is like day 3 on the cruise, and he knew her. So, of course, when you're reading somebody you know, it's a hot reading. But he was trying to be general, and he did this all on a whim. I mean, they just walked in, and he starts to do his talk, and they said, here's a banana, we want you to give a reading. So all of this is just off the top of his head because he's obviously very experienced at this. So, and a performer. I love how he goes, it's right here. So Kitty, very skeptical woman, a longtime friend of mine, but she never ends up going to Amsterdam. Well, I don't know if she goes to Amsterdam, but she never ends up moving there. She ends up staying where she lived at the time here. But Kitty had known about giving feedback to somebody whenever somebody's giving a reading to you, you know, nodding or, you know, shaking your head or opening your eyes wide or smiling or looking confused. All that is for somebody who's trained can see those nuances. And I don't care how well you hide it, how good you think you are at hiding this kind of information. But when when you're dealing with somebody who's done 1,000 or more readings, cold readings, they can read your micro, your pupils in your eyes dilate. It's, you start to get a little twinge of a smile. It's just very hard to fake it. I mean, unless you're some sort of professional poker player or something like that, it's really difficult to hide it. So don't even bother with these people that are very skilled at this. Anyway, she knew about feedback, and she's like, I'm not going to give him any feedback. I'm not going to tell him anything. I'm not going to give away anything at all. I'm going to be just as cool as a cucumber. And she's telling us this, that was her goal. And then, but we recorded this. So when she saw the video afterwards, she's like, I can't believe it. Look at me nodding my head and agreeing to him. She says, I had no idea I was doing that. In fact, I was trying to consciously not do that. And she gave away a lot of stuff. She was nodding. She was, the more charismatic the medium is, and the more you are motivated to want to perform or to continue the reading. So you start agreeing with the psychic, or you start to, you so badly want to latch onto things. I mean, that's all going to happen because that's part of what the relationship between a medium and a sitter. The more motivated the sitter is, the more likely they're going to latch onto things. And I love the lava lamp. I forgot about the lava lamp. That's just, I do. He asked her, she had a lava lamp. So, Mark's hitting on all sorts of tropes, love, travel, and all kinds of things that are just typical cold reading statements. And that's what a reading will look like for somebody who isn't really trying to get a hook in you. Some people try to get a hook in you, and they're going to say, oh, you have mediumistic qualities yourself. Let me train you, or those kinds of things. But this is my first introduction to really knowing Mark Edward. I met him briefly once before, years before. We were both married, but I mean, I just saw him and I said, wow, he's cute. And we had a little interaction with buying something, and he was rude to me. And I said, dang, he's so rude. Oh, what a jerk. Little did I know, years later. But the point is that when you're charming and you want to please somebody by that effect a person in the audience will have to the person on stage, you agreed with whatever they're doing because it's an effect the magicians will take advantage of, is that they're not going to embarrass you. They don't want to embarrass you on stage, so they're likely to agree to things. Anyway, it was such a fun cruise. Even if you can't go on something like this, take a risk and actually go do stuff that are different. And you never know who you're going to meet and the lifelong friends you're going to meet, and be open to it. I don't think I have the video. I saw Naomi filming from her other side, and I don't think I have that video. I wonder if I can get that from her. I should ask her. But anyway, I have this one that I filmed. One thing I want to mention before, I like to make these videos evergreen so that if you're listening to this the day it comes out, or a day in the future, a year, 10 years, whatever, if YouTube even exists and we have videos at that time, who knows? No psychic knows. I like to make these evergreen. So I don't usually give dates and things like that about when, well, whatever. I am filming this February 8th, 2025. I'm happy to tell you that date, but I try to keep these open. But I did want to mention, and I thought, if people are interested in seeing more of, one of my talks, or, going to one of the events that I'm going to be at, I thought I'd throw these locations out to you, not the dates, because contact me if you're in one of these locations and you want to know when I'm going to be in town. And I attend a lot of little tiny conferences. I call them Skepticamps, and I'm trying to initiate them around the world. I mean, we've been doing them for a long time, way before I started getting involved. And now I kind of really am pushing them in the United States, and in Canada's starting to do this. Australia and some places in the UK have been doing these for years. But I'm really trying to work with the Center for Inquiry to push them more now, because we're coming out of the pandemic and people are still not quite used to getting back together again and meeting in person. And I think it's very important to meet people in person. So I'm going to give you some places, and these are places that I will be in the future, and I've been to, and I will continue going to probably. And if you're in one of these locations, why don't you reach out to me by my email or on Facebook Messenger and say, hey, I'm in, when are you coming to that area? Because I live there, or my family lives there, and I might be able to work it out that I'll be on vacation. I can go there, maybe at the time you're there, and I can meet you, and we can have a soda together, because I don't really drink. Share a piece pizza together. No, that's likely. Or come hang out with me. It's fun. And I'm almost always going to these places. I'm giving a talk either on psychics or on Wikipedia, or some project facilitated communication, something I'm already interested in, or some other kind of thing. So I live in the Monterey area, Monterey, California. I'm in the Bay Area quite a bit, or I'm in Los Angeles every so often. Even though Mark Edward isn't there, I still go to Los Angeles. I have very good friends down there. So Eugene, Oregon, and Portland, Oregon, I try to go at least once a year. Seattle, I like to go up to Seattle as well. We do these conferences up there. Vegas, we're going to be trying to do a Skepticamp there, and we always have had the big conferences there. Oh, I think I've got the shirt on for PsyCon. PsyCon 2024 was in Vegas. It's the Bay Area, obviously. I'll be in Dallas in September. I'm actually going to be giving a talk at a mentalism conference, believe it or not. And not exactly Dallas, but some little suburb outside of Dallas, and I don't remember what it's called. Raleigh, North Carolina, some great friends back in there. Buffalo, New York, that's the Center for Inquiry's headquarters. So I go back there once a year, maybe something like that. I'll be there definitely for the 50th anniversary of CSI. 50th anniversary of CSI. There'll be a very big conference there, PsyCon, CSICON. St. Louis, Missouri, I will be there. Lodi, California. Chattanooga, Tennessee. Now, I will be going to a conference there in July. It is the Scopes trial, the 100th anniversary of Scopes, the monkey trial, the evolution trial. They're having a conference there for the first time. It's a new place, new topic, and I'm dying to go. I think that's going to be fascinating. My degree is in history, social history, and I find that all fascinating. Calgary, Canada, as well as Edmonton. I will be in Calgary and Edmonton in May, I believe, and West Virginia. I should be there in October, and I don't remember what city. Possibly Lancaster, Philadelphia, as well as Albuquerque, New Mexico. So these are all places that I tend to go at least once a year. And there's huge communities, well, not huge, but there are communities of skeptics out there. I'd like to get to some of the other areas, Indiana and Salt Lake City and Minnesota, and a lot of these other places I'd like to go and visit. But I'm just waiting for an invite or for somebody to put together a skeptic camp. And I'm always happy to help do that. So I think that's it that I want to talk about today. I hope you guys enjoy these kinds of videos that are, I'm not a professional videographer or a video. I don't have a script. I'm speaking off the top of my head, obviously. And no editing powers. You're not going to see big old zoom, things happening in the corners of the screen or anything like that. I'm just not that type of personality. I love those kinds of videos too, but the video wouldn't come out. So if you need to write to me, please do so. Please friend me on Facebook. I'm also on Blue Sky, and I'm also on Twitter and Threads. Susan Gerbic. And I guess that's it. So please subscribe, and please leave me your comments. I really appreciate that. And you guys have a great night. Thanks.